Have you ever wondered what words have the power to reach a man's soul? We're not talking about superficial compliments or cliched phrases anyone could say. We're talking about words that resonate deep within, activating something primal in his psyche and creating an instant connection. Carl Jung, that brilliant Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, dedicated his life to understanding the deepest corners of our minds. And what he discovered is fascinating. We all have archetypes, universal patterns that shape our collective unconscious. For men, certain archetypes are particularly powerful, and when your words connect with them, magic happens. But before revealing these 11 transformative phrases, you need to understand something essential. This isn't about manipulation or empty techniques. Jung always emphasized the importance of authenticity. If these words don't come from your truth, from your authentic self, they'll never have the power they could. As Jung said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. So get ready to discover these phrases, based on Jung's deep understanding of the masculine soul. Phrases that, when spoken from authenticity, have the power to awaken immediate and intense love in any man. The first phrase that can make a man fall in love instantly is, "I see something in you that maybe others haven't noticed." This phrase connects directly with what Jung called the shadow. We all have parts of our personality we hide from the world, parts we think are unacceptable or have simply repressed. When you tell a man you see something special in him, something hidden from others, you're telling him you accept not just his conscious self, but also his deepest hidden parts. Jung explained that the process of individuation, the path to becoming our true selves, involves recognizing and accepting all our facets. When your words show a man you're willing to see beyond his social mask, what Jung called the persona, you create a safe space where he can be vulnerable, where he can be authentic. That authenticity is the foundation of a true connection. Imagine what it means for someone to know they don't have to pretend to be perfect with you, that they can show their vulnerabilities and still be valued. It's an invaluable gift in a world that constantly expects men to project strength and control. When you say, "I see something in you that maybe others haven't noticed," you're allowing him to lower his guard, breathe deeply, and feel truly accepted. The second powerful phrase is, "Your opinion really matters to me." According to Jung, every man has within him the archetype of the sage, the part that longs to be recognized for its wisdom and knowledge. When you express genuine interest in his thoughts, when you show you value what he has to say, you're nurturing this fundamental part of his psyche. It's not just flattery. Jung taught us that the sage archetype represents our search for truth and meaning. When a man feels his ideas and perspectives are valued, he doesn't just feel superficial recognition. He experiences deep validation of his inner self, his path toward wisdom. It's like saying, "Your search for meaning matters. Your way of seeing the world is valuable." And here's something crucial Jung understood. We all seek meaning. We all want our existence to have purpose. When you tell a man his opinion matters to you, you're connecting with his existential longing to feel his ideas impact the world. You're creating a space where he feels not just heard, but deeply understood. The third phrase that can transform your connection with a man is, "I admire how you face challenges." This phrase directly touches the hero archetype, a central figure in Jungian psychology. The hero represents the individual's struggle to overcome obstacles, to transform and evolve. When you acknowledge this aspect in a man, you're validating his personal journey, his internal and external battles. Jung believed we all face our own dragons, our own trials, as part of our psychological growth. For a man, knowing someone witnesses his efforts, someone understands the difficulties he's overcome, is deeply moving. It's not about praising only his successes, but valuing the process, the perseverance, the resilience. In a society that often reduces a man's worth to his external achievements, recognizing his inner strength, his ability to rise after falling, is a revolutionary act. You're saying, "I see not just what you've achieved, but what you've endured to get here." That kind of deep understanding opens doors to emotional intimacy few experience. The fourth phrase, which Jung would have considered especially powerful, is, "I feel safe when I'm with you." This statement connects with the protector archetype, a deeply rooted energy in the masculine psyche. It's not about perpetuating outdated gender stereotypes, but recognizing a psychological truth Jung identified. The drive to protect those we love is a universal expression of love. When you tell a man he makes you feel safe, you're communicating that his presence in your life has a positive impact, that it allows you to be vulnerable because you trust him. Jung understood that trust is the bridge connecting two souls. It's the space where defenses can fall and true intimacy can flourish. And here's a fascinating Jungian perspective. When a man feels he can protect you, he also feels protected. It seems contradictory, but Jung would explain it's because by allowing him to express this aspect of his being, you're giving him a safe space to show his own vulnerability. It's a sacred exchange where both can feel simultaneously strong and vulnerable, protector and protected. The fifth transformative phrase is, I believe in your vision, in what you're creating. Before moving forward, let me mention that my book is now available. It's full of tips and techniques to help you overcome emotional blocks and love yourself more. Find the link in the description and pinned comment. Continuing, Jung often spoke of the creative process as an expression of our deepest self. For him, creativity wasn't just art in the conventional sense, but the ability to project our inner world outward, to transform reality according to our unique vision. When you tell a man you believe in what he's creating, whether it's a professional project, a personal dream, or even the relationship you're building together, you're fueling his inner fire. You're saying, I see your potential. I trust your ability to bring what's inside you into the world. This validation of his creative capacity, his power to turn ideas into reality, resonates with what Jung called the individuation process, the journey to become who we're truly meant to be. In a world where many dreams go unrealized, having someone who genuinely believes in your vision is an invaluable treasure. The sixth phrase, deeply Jungian in essence, is, I love how your mind works differently. Jung pioneered recognizing and valuing individual psychological differences. He developed the theory of psychological types because he understood that each mind is unique in how it perceives the world and makes decisions. When you sincerely appreciate the unique way a man thinks, his particular perspective, his distinct mental processes, you're offering something rare, the celebration of his individuality. You're not trying to make him think like you or like the majority. You're valuing exactly what makes him different. From a Jungian perspective, this acceptance of his mental uniqueness touches something deeply existential. We all seek to be recognized in our uniqueness, valued not despite our differences, but because of them. When you say, I love how your mind works differently, you're essentially saying, your uniqueness is exactly what draws me to you. The seventh phrase with transformative power is, with you, I can be completely myself. Here, we touch on what Jung called the persona, the social mask we all wear in different contexts. Jung understood that true intimacy can only flourish when we allow ourselves to be authentic, when we let our mask fall. When you tell a man you can be yourself in his presence, you're giving him an extraordinary compliment. You're communicating that his way of being, of relating to you, creates a space where you feel safe to show your true self. And this, from a Jungian perspective, is the foundation of a transformative relationship. What's fascinating is that this phrase also gives him implicit permission to be authentic. Jung would explain that by modeling your own vulnerability and authenticity, you're inviting him to a deeper level of connection where both can set aside social expectations and truly meet soul to soul. It's an invitation to what Jung would call a conscious relationship, where both can grow and evolve together. The eighth phrase, deeply resonant with Jungian psychology, is, you inspire me to be a better version of myself. Jung spoke extensively about the concept of conjunctio, the union of opposites, the way meaningful relationships transform us. When you tell a man he inspires you to improve, you're acknowledging his positive influence on your individuation process. This phrase is particularly powerful because it doesn't create dependency. You're not saying he's responsible for your happiness or growth, but that his presence, his being, motivates you to grow. From a Jungian perspective, the healthiest relationships are those where each person maintains their individuality while benefiting from the energetic exchange with the other. And there's more. Jung understood that we all seek to have a positive impact on the world. When you tell someone they inspire you to be better, you're communicating that their existence matters, that their way of being creates ripples of positive change beyond themselves. Few recognitions are as profound as this. The ninth phrase, which directly touches Jung's concept of the anima, is, I'm fascinated by discovering new facets of you. The anima, in Jung's psychology, represents the feminine part of the masculine psyche, associated with emotional depth, connection, and inner complexity. When you express genuine interest in discovering his multiple dimensions, you're acknowledging this complexity. In a world that often reduces men to one-dimensional stereotypes, showing that you see and value his multifaceted nature is revolutionary. You're saying, I don't box you into a simplistic definition. I recognize you're a complex being with multiple layers, all worthy of exploration and appreciation. Jung emphasized that the journey to wholeness involves integrating our multiple facets, recognizing our contradictions, and accepting our complexity. When you tell a man you're fascinated by discovering new parts of him, you're implicitly supporting his own process of self-discovery and acceptance. You're creating a space where he can show aspects of himself he may have kept hidden for fear of rejection. The 10th phrase, deeply rooted in Jung's understanding of relationships, is, even in our disagreements, I feel we grow together. Jung understood that conflict, when handled consciously, can be a source of growth and transformation. It's not about avoiding all disagreements, but approaching them as opportunities to deepen mutual understanding. When you communicate to a man that you value even the difficult moments as part of your shared journey, you're elevating the relationship to a deeper level. You're not seeking superficial harmony or false peace. You're embracing the creative tension Jung considered essential for psychological growth. This phrase conveys an emotional maturity that's deeply attractive. You're saying, I don't expect perfection. I understand that real relationships involve challenges, and I'm willing to face them with you, to learn from them, to let them transform us both. In a culture that often portrays love as a conflict-free fairy tale, this realistic yet optimistic perspective is refreshing and deeply comforting. And finally, the 11th phrase, which encapsulates the very essence of Jungian psychology applied to relationships, is, I accept you completely with your light and your shadow. Jung dedicated much of his work to exploring the concept of the shadow, those parts of ourselves we repress, deny, or simply don't recognize. The individuation process, according to Jung, inevitably requires confronting and embracing our shadow. When you tell a man you accept him completely, with his luminous aspects and his darker parts, you're offering a rare gift in this world, unconditional acceptance. You're not saying he's perfect. You're acknowledging his full humanity and choosing to love him, not despite his imperfections, but including them. This phrase has transformative power because it touches the deepest human longing, to be seen in our entirety and loved as such. Jung understood that this kind of acceptance is the foundation of true intimacy and the most powerful catalyst for personal transformation. When a man hears these words, and more importantly, when he feels they're sincere, something profound is activated in him. Jung would describe it as a moment of soul recognition, an instant where defenses fall, and the possibility of a connection beyond the superficial opens, touching the eternal in both. It's important to remember that these phrases aren't magic formulas or manipulation tricks. Jung always emphasized the importance of authenticity and congruence. These words will only have the power described if they come from a place of truth, if they reflect what you truly feel. As Jung said, what you resist persists. What you accept transforms you. Authenticity is always the way, and this is where many go wrong. They think they can use words as tools of manipulation, as keys to unlock another's heart without first opening their own. Jung taught that this approach is doomed to fail. The human psyche has a profound wisdom that detects incongruence, that senses when words don't match true feelings. So, before saying any of these phrases, ask yourself, is this what I truly feel? Am I communicating my truth, or am I just seeking a reaction? The difference between these two approaches is the difference between creating a genuine, lasting connection or a mirage that will fade with time. Jung dedicated his life to understanding the depths of the human psyche, the universal patterns that connect us all. Perhaps his deepest discovery was that true love isn't about finding someone perfect, but about seeing an imperfect person perfectly. When your words reflect this understanding, when they communicate this deep acceptance and valuing of the other in their entirety, they have the power to touch the soul. And remember, these phrases aren't just for the start of a relationship. They're expressions of a deep connection that can and should be renewed constantly. Jung understood that relationships are living organisms that need continuous nourishment. Every time you sincerely express these truths, you're watering the seed of connection, allowing it to grow and deepen. Imagine for a moment what a world would be like where we all communicated from this level of authenticity and deep understanding. Jung believed that social transformation begins with individual transformation, that by making our unconscious conscious and relating from that expanded awareness, we create ripples of change that extend far beyond ourselves. So I invite you to experiment with these phrases, not as techniques to achieve something, but as expressions of a new, more conscious, deeper, more aligned way of relating to your inner truth. As Jung would say, the goal isn't to use these phrases to make any man fall in love, but to create relationships where both can feel truly seen, valued, and loved in their entirety. Before concluding, let me ask you, which of these phrases resonates with you the most? Which reflects something you already feel but perhaps haven't put into words? Jung taught us that when something moves us deeply, it's often because it touches a truth we already carry within. So pay attention to your inner response to what these words awaken in you. If this message has touched you, if you feel it can transform not only your romantic relationships, but your way of connecting with others in general, share it with someone you think could benefit. Jung understood that knowledge not shared, not put into practice in the real world, remains sterile. Its transformative power lies in its application, in living these truths. I invite you to leave in the comments which of these phrases felt most powerful to you, or if there is one you'd add to the list. Your experience, your unique perspective, enriches this conversation and can light the way for others. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to receive more content like this, designed to help you create deeper, more meaningful relationships. Thank you for being here, for dedicating your time and attention to this journey of self-discovery and authentic connection. As Carl Jung would say, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens. It's time to awaken to a new way of relating, one that honors both our individuality and our deep inner connection. It's time to communicate not just from the mind, but from the soul. And when we do, we'll discover that the true power lies not in seduction techniques, but in the courage to be authentic, to see the other in their entirety, and to allow ourselves to be seen too. See you in the next video, where we'll continue exploring the depths of the human psyche and discovering together how to create connections that not only enchant, but transform. Remember, the most powerful words are always those born from your truth. Until soon,